Hey you guys, welcome back to Southern Latitudes. I'm Robin and I garden on just a half acre in East Central Florida. And the reason why I'm specifically pointing out the half acre to you is because I want to talk about gardening by the numbers today. And I have a little cheat card and some more notes over there as we go so I can get all the numbers accurate for you. But last night, let me back up from that. So in 2022, I started the journey of recording the weights of all the produce that we've been pulling in from our garden. And just things grown here, not anything like if I go to a farmer's market. So anyhow, I bring it in, weigh it, and then it goes to a basket where it can be used. And in 2022, I don't know that I made a video about this or not, but I did put something in the community tabs and also on my Instagram. And in 2022, we had 802 eggs from the chickens, and I might have had 10 chickens at that time, but then we lost 2 later in the year, so that was okay. 802 eggs, and we grew 466.38 pounds of food in 2022. Well, as we turned into 2023, I was really thinking, let's see if we are improving, increasing, or decreasing. Sometimes there's crop failures and stuff. And so I went ahead and bought this little, it's like a calendar book actually, but I don't use it like a calendar. Go figure. It could be just plain paper, but it does have the months, so I like that. So I would put the eggs down in a column and the weights of the whatever I brought in a column, and as you can see, from month to month it increased. And by April we were really booking. I almost used up all of that. We were getting a lot of pounds. In May too. Those are my biggest months here in East Central Florida. Of course, anyhow, you could do anything you want, but just that's how it is the way I'm gardening in my yard. So let me go ahead and I'll just go ahead and throw out the totals out there, and then I'll give you a little detail of what happened month by month. So as I said, we were 802 eggs in 2022. In 2023, we're at 835 eggs. And there is a month in there where there's some eggs I'm sure missing. We went on vacation in May, and I don't know, the numbers were weird. And then for food, we went from 466 pounds to, in 2023, 638.46 pounds of food on a half acre. Can you believe that? The overall picture is that most of that was tomatoes. The second biggest crop I had was all the butternut, squash, and pumpkins. And pineapples draws a lot. The papayas are heavy. There's those, and bananas. So there's all that. But okay, so let me kind of just go a little month by month, things that just kind of stand out to me. So I was surprised we had 70 eggs in January. Soon as the days become longer, boom, your eggs start coming out. Their little ovaries turn on and they start making little eggs. So we had the typical winter crop: the radishes, lettuces, carrots, some of the citrus, the lime, the grapefruits, peas, parsley. I did a lot of different radishes last year. I had bok choy, tons of bok choy last year. That was great. In fact, it was so much that I still haven't eaten it all, and I have decided not to grow it this year. In February, we went to 108 eggs, so their little eggs really worked. That sounds awkward. Their eggs really were popping out. We had 42 pounds or so of food: Swiss chard, kale, ginger, pineapples. We had pineapples in February. Oh, that was from the winter. Okay, so that was like the fall crop into overwintering. I had star fruit. I had little cherry tomatoes coming in, carrots, cauliflower, lots of broccoli. Broccoli made up a lot of weight. I had a pretty doggone good year for cauliflower too. So a lot of these early months was cauliflower and a little bit broccoli too. Then March we went up to 136 eggs, 83 pounds of food, mostly broccoli, cauliflower. Banana racks were coming off. And tomatoes were starting to come in. I had lots of celery, by the way, but that doesn't weigh very much. In April, we went to 132 eggs, and then all of a sudden you start seeing the onions were coming off. There's a lot of onions, then broccoli, cabbage, and more cabbage and kohlrabi. I did kohlrabi too. And then and lettuce. As we get closer to the end of March, in come the tomatoes. And that did start increasing the weights a lot. So by May though, that was when I had my banner month for tomatoes. I couldn't believe it. I had to double check my numbers because I don't think we've ever done this before. I had 176 pounds of food. So I go looking through it. There was 10 pounds, 11 pounds of onions. There was a cabbage. Yeah, it's a little bit. Oh, green beans. There's some miscellaneous little things, not much. But I would say about 160 of those pounds were nothing but tomatoes in May. It was canning. I threw a bunch of those that I wanted to can into the freezer because I got so overwhelmed. But it was great because then I could can at my leisure. And the freezer was full of beautiful, ripe, flavorful tomatoes for tomato sauce and pizza sauce and whatever, whole tomatoes. Okay, and we had 112 eggs for that month. And then June, my eggs started dropping off. I have only about 69. My hens changed the nest. I think we had something with a snake going on. And I only had 22 pounds of food. And a lot of that is peppers, pineapples. Pineapples came in early, I thought. June seems early for me. But anyhow, most of those were peppers. And a little bit of onions too. I still had some leftover onions. And the butternuts started coming in June. In July, it was more of the same. Most of my harvest is done. I'm looking at resting. My sweet potatoes are in. All my winter squash are in. And so, and the Barbados cherries are picking up. Of course, I've been probably eating them for 2 months already. But I had 69 eggs, and then we went up 67, 68 pounds of food. Again, peppers, pineapples, okra, don't forget the okra. But I didn't grow as much okra in 23 as I normally do. And so I'll make a little bit better push for that in 24 this year. The Seminole pumpkins, miracle fruit, I did actually count that. The asparagus started coming back in. Eggplants, oh, lots of eggplants there. August, I had 65 eggs. Again, the snake did come back. I have it in my notes. And then I was down to only 18 pounds of food for that month of August, which is fine with me. It's incredibly hot here where I live, and so it's a time of rest. It's time to get in the pool. It's time to have hurricanes. Prep for that, unprep for that. It's time to do other things. Maybe whatever you like to do. Take a vacation before school starts again. So a lot of that 18.5 pounds were cubanelles, the peppers, I'll just say it that way, okra, more of the winter squash, turmeric. I was harvesting turmeric back then. I had some muscadines then, but I also had the green grapes probably a month or two before that. The muscadines did take a little bit longer, and I don't know if that's just because it was a new vine or not. And the eggplants kept coming in. September was 42 eggs and 52-ish and some pounds of food. Again, the okras, peppers, I had some leeks. I don't know where they came from, but I had some leeks to pull. And squash. All the squash. Oh my gosh. I can't even add all that up. Most of that was squash. October, my chickens started shutting down. 15 eggs. There was only 10 pounds of food. Most of it, it's all repeated. There's some extra things like the tomatillas and the papayas. The limes kind of were sprinkled all throughout that time. I did have some patty pan squash, which was nice. I put those in kind of early. I collected my holy basil and made tea. So that was good. But that's also when I was just getting a lot of things started. So there wasn't a lot of produce. And then come November, okay, so I didn't have eggs for a long time. And then I actually put a big 0 for November. And there's a reason for that, because they stopped laying in the one nest that they've been in for several years. And when we have a guest that was here, she found all the eggs in December. We had a clutch of like 15. There was, well, maybe I think we pulled 12, and there had to be like 3 cracked and rotten eggs. And then where there was no nest, I guess they carried some hay over to there, or the rats did. I don't know what goes on at night in those little 4 walls of theirs, but there's like a party or something going on, and we found a whole clutch of eggs. We did the water test to see what floated and what didn't. We kept the 8 cleanest, and the rest went in the garbage because, well, anyhow, that was included in December totals, but we were a little afraid of some of them. But we did find where they moved to. For food, we had 36.5 pounds. We did have a lot of cucumbers, believe it or not. It didn't look like it. I couldn't can, but we had a lot to fresh eat. More papayas, patty pan squash. The Barbados cherries kept coming in, and then I juiced them. I think I juiced them in November. Could have been December though. I bought a steam juicer. Oh, I love that thing. And let's see, I had a fig, turnips, collards, Swiss chards. All of a sudden, my early and fast winter crops or greens started coming in. So that was great. Oh, and we had a rack of ice cream bananas and eggplants. That's right. Woo, we had some papaya too. Okay, so anyhow, then we had that small ice cream banana rack. So then in December, the egg count was 20, and of course, like I said, a bunch of those were ditched. But you know, once we were looking in the right box, all was well. And then, so in December, I was finally I had been collecting elderberry from my elderberry tree, putting it in the freezer, and I was able to make my first batch ever of elderberry syrup. And that ended up, man, I don't know if I have a total weight on the elderberry. It's in that video. I can link it at the end of this. But we also had a second rack of bananas come off, and that was a lot of the 34 pounds that made up December's weights. Of course, all the greens again. Sweet potatoes, so I had sweet potatoes drying, and they weren't included in the weights for the month they were picked in. But as they were curing out on the porch and then we started using them, that's when I started weighing them. So normally you don't get sweet potatoes in December, but that's kind of just what I did. And eggplants and more limes. So anyhow, that's kind of gardening by the numbers and kind of month by month look at what happened. And I have decided to free myself of this in 2024. Now, that was a hard decision. I'm still not sure I made the right decision. I may regret it later and pick it back up in 25. But this is the year we should be having things like nectarines and peaches and apples come in. And I'll probably weigh that, but I won't keep like everything like all the lettuce and Swiss chard and onions. And we're not going to have a good onion year either. But we should have really good white sweet potato and red sweet potato year. We have a lot of that going. And anyhow, and the grapes will be in their second year, so we should be getting a lot more grapes. But I've decided to free myself from that and just not really become slave to the book and things piling up on me in the kitchen, and my family is like, can I eat this, can I not? I just don't want to go through that in 24. I know we're gonna have some beautiful harvests. I can't believe I think if I got it right, we're like hold on, let me see. What, I think we went up about 180, 170 pounds. I don't know. Do the math. I'll put it down below. I'll do the math for real. Extra 170 pounds more food in 23 than we did in 22. I can't imagine how much we're going to be blessed in 24. So you guys, I hope you enjoyed gardening by the numbers. If you did enjoy this content, be sure to give me a thumbs up and like the video. Maybe leave me an encouraging comment down below. It helps keep the channel going. And we're real close to monetizing, and I thank every one of you. When I mentioned that last time, my numbers zoomed up. I think some of you really took me seriously and you put my videos on and left the house for the day or something. I don't know, but the numbers, the hours really went up when you guys came to the rescue and bumped my numbers up in the algorithms. So thank you for that. And here's to 2024 and the wonderful food that we're going to be growing, all of us together. I hope you've gotten your seeds together and your gardens ready and prepared, your beds prepared. So let's do this, okay? Take care, God bless, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.